Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another video on the channel. Sorry there hasn't been a video for a little while, but we're back. We are back! We are comparing Nuno to Cooper so far during his tenure, comparing how we've improved, have we improved, are we worse off, are we better off, just comparing the records, how we're doing on the pitch, and all that good stuff. But before we get into it, like and subscribe if you want. It helps me out a lot, so that it will be very nice. I'm going to encourage you to do those two things. And if you want more stuff from me, the Twitter is linked below. And without further ado, let's go. So comparing Nuno to Cooper, let's start with Nuno's record. We've played 13 games, won 3, drawn 3, lost 7, picking up 12 points. No, it's alright, you know. You have to, you know, bear that in mind, you know. He's not had the easiest of things to deal with, you know. Points deductions, shambolic refereeing, players going to AFCON. So yeah, but we'll get to more to that in a second. Now comparing it to Steve Cooper's record, we played 17 games, won 3, drew 5, lost 9, picking up 14 points. So again, there isn't a lot in it so far. It is very close in terms of the records that both managers did have. Starting with Nuno. So looking at it, he came in December time. Now listen, Steve Cooper is the best manager we have had since Brian Clough. That is not a debate. That is just stone cold fact. He's the best manager since Brian Clough. Got promoted since 23 years to the Premier League. And the players, the fans, both idolised him. So no matter who came in, whether it was flipping Pep Guardiola, Rudy Carlo Ancelotti, they had big shoes to fill. So he's come in and listen, the first game we got absolutely shafted. We got stabbed in between the shoulder blades by Rob Jones against Bournemouth. Willy Boly should never have been sent off. And even when he did get sent off, we were still playing well and put up a good fight. Lost 3-2. With Willy Boly on the pitch, I believe we win the game or at least get a draw. So we then did go and, you know, win a couple of games. We beat Newcastle away on Boxing Day and Manchester United at home on New Year's Eve. So, you know, you can make the argument that was a honeymoon period, which I'm very much in the camp of. That was a honeymoon period, because since then we have won just one Premier League game, and including, if you want to look at the FA Cup, having to go to extra time against Blackpool in a replay, having to go to penalties against Bristol City. The FA Cup games don't cover it in any glory either. We're just going to base this on the league though. So we won just one league game. That was against West Ham. Very good performance, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's not really great. It's not, you know, it's not the sort of start and the sort of run that Evangelos Marinakis would have gone, yes, that's what I want. However, with that in mind, I'm going to talk about Cooper. Looking at the start of the season now, with a total of 13 players joining, most of them being on deadline day, and with Starman from last season probably keeping us up in the end, Brennan Johnson leaving to join Tottenham. Yes, we've got about 50 million quid, but we're also missing a lot of goals and a lot of important, impactful performances with his departure. And with pretty much all of that money, we then brought in Sangare, who you can't say he has stepped up to Brennan Johnson's standards. Yes, they're in different positions, but yeah, like Sangare's about 30 odd million, Johnson was about 50 odd million. So it's hard to compare the two, but Sangare has not been elite. He's slowly but surely, you know, improving, but so far compared to Johnson, he's not really been hitting it. And with also his departure being on deadline day, it was always going to be very, very difficult, you know, to get that amount of goals and that amount of top quality performances, you know, replaced quickly. We signed Callum Hudson-Odoi for 3 million quid, who I don't think has been bad at all. I think he's been very underrated. We're not going to get Brennan Johnson and Callum Hudson-Odoi. They're different. So yeah, it was always going to be hard to replace with just less than 24 hours to do that. And I think that's part of the reason why we have struggled. But see, if you want to look at Cooper's start of the season, we lost a lot of important games. We lost the Everton game miserably. We went from probably one of the few games where I'd say Cooper was really at fault for. We went 2-0 up against Luton in the home game, and we drew 2-2. We bottled it. We took 3 of our best players at the time off and brought on 3 players, and arguably 1 or 2 of them were at fault for conceding the goals. But also, we did have some good moments. We beat Villa 2-0, got a massive 1-0 away win against Chelsea. So we won some big games there, but also we lost some games against teams and dropped points in games that we needed to win if we wanted to, you know, to stay up. And like Everton, like the Luton games, which I mentioned. And also we dropped points against Burnley, who we should have really been beating, and we did not play well at all. I think we were quite fortunate to get a draw in that. We didn't really create too many good quality chances after that. Now, looking at sort of tactically and performance-wise, how we actually improved. Under Cooper, listen, he said at the end of last season, he did not want us to play the way we did for most of the season. However, we had to just get results, basically. And, you know, it kept us up. Looking at the start of the season, I think we tried to play a little bit better. Again, it didn't work. We lost a lot of games. So he went back to sort of the part of the bus sort of football. And, you know, it got us the odd result, but overall, it really did cost us. And if that didn't work, then we sort of did seem to struggle. The approach going forward was a lot more erratic. Just get everyone forward. That's what it did seem like at times. Now, with Nuno coming in, I think Marinakis' thought was, if we're going to play like this, why don't we get a manager that's experienced in doing that? Which is what he has done in Nuno, which I think with that thought process, that's probably not a bad decision. But he's come in, and I think we are going forwards. I think when we counter-attack, there's a lot more structure and a lot more planning to it. It was sort of almost like get the balls like Elanga or Gibbs White before and just hope for the best. That's what it felt at times, because obviously, you know, Cooper was a Premier League manager for 18 months while he was at Forest. He's got no other experience, so he was almost learning on the job, trying to integrate so many new players as well. Going forwards now, there seems to be a lot more of an approach. You know, the wing backs get forwards. There seems a lot more structure, but defensively, we still seem very awful. I'm recording this off the back of the Crystal Palace game, and defensively for that goal, we were absolutely rancid. It was awful defending, and we conceded a very avoidable goal. And yeah, just defensively, Felipe was really out of position. It's just, yeah, defensively we've been very bang average. We've had to rely on Sells making some top saves. You know, thankfully we've managed to have him and not Matt Turner in goal. Because if we had Matt Turner in goal, we would have lost more games than what we already have. Which is another factor of, I think, what cost Cooper as well. He was using two goalkeepers who are backup goalkeepers. You know, I don't even think Turner's quite good enough for the Premier League. Vouch, I think, is a stable backup for the Premier League, but not Turner. Sells has come in, he's done a good job, and yeah, without him we would have lost a lot more games. So yeah, there's obviously some improvements to make, and to give the answer, do I think we've improved massively under Nuno? No. Quite frankly, that is factual. We had the month of December where we played well. I think the international break that happened, you know, did sort of hinder our momentum and our performances, but still. And obviously refereeing decisions, the game against Brentford especially, awful refereeing performance again. The game against Bournemouth, awful refereeing performance. Against Liverpool, a stinky refereeing performance. There's been 3 or 4 times this season where refs have cost us. We would be much higher up the league if it wasn't for these awful refereeing choices. But listen, the month of December was very much a honeymoon period. It happens when the vast majority of managers get a job. You have a honeymoon period, and after the first month, you see how much the team has improved under this new manager. And listen, you know, he's had a lot to compete with. Obviously, as I said, terrible refereeing decisions, points deduction, which is a massive psychological factor that some people maybe might not grasp. But that's going to affect the players that, you know, they've just been docked 4 points. That's taking away, let's say, the Man United win and the draw, and then the draw against Bournemouth, let's say. 2 very hard-fought games. That's just completely almost discounted them like they didn't happen because of those 4 points being taken away. So it's a massive psychological factor as well. We've only really seen one game with that in play, so we'll have to wait to see how good or bad it does affect us. We also have to deal with players at AFCON as well, which obviously takes away from maybe team bonding. You know, a lot of new players went to AFCON as well, so you had to deal with that. And listen, the time that he was brought in, which I think it made sense because it gave him a month, you know, to get used to the squad. So then going into January, he knew what areas he needed to improve. And there's still, I think, obviously with FFP as well, we couldn't maybe have got as many players as what he would have liked. But yeah, we will have to wait and see to see how much those players will benefit us. But yeah, it's a waiting game. So to conclude the question in the title, do I think we have actually improved under Nuno? No. Not massively, however there is still time, and it was always going to be big shoes to fill. And listen, do I think we can stay up? Absolutely. Without running of games and Luton's running of games, we've still got Burnley and Sheffield United to play, 2 massive games. We've still got Everton to play as well, and we've got Fulham coming up on Tuesday night as well. and Luton have still got most of the top sides still to play. So we have to bear that in mind. I do think Nuno's got the ability and the players have got the fundamentals and the talent to stay up, but we'll have to wait and see. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.